This is my phone camera, just in case I need to pick up volume. All right. I'm gonna hit record and just start talking. Alright, so welcome to the Cigar Box Guitar Stories. This part I had problems with making these things. As you can tell, this is one of my failed efforts. There's a million ways you can do the neck through it. The neck through I kind of like, because it's putting in the weight. Not just in the box cover. And with limited tools, it's kind of hard to get that little opening, as you can tell. The shape of your stick. But I found actually a good way to do that, since this box, this old school box ruined. Old school. And that's my grandmother. Say hi, Nana. So, yeah, I'm at my grandmother's house. And I was talking about old school. And I don't have as many good stories as she's got. But, I think she's sick of telling them for all my friends.
You ask questions to me. You
Okay.
gotta ask them slow.
Okay, slow. Okay,
Okay, so I can understand what you're
when
saying.
people call things old school, like when it's like old. Like, I can't even imagine when you were younger what would have been old school. It would have been horses and when did you see the first car? Do you remember when you saw the first car?
The first
automobile?
Oh, the first car. Yeah. 1935. And you get gasoline 2 gallons for $1. And we'd wave to each other.
It was a big deal, right?
Yeah, it was so little. When a car would go by, we'd go like this.
Is that in Italy or here? Is that in Italy or here?
Here.
Here? In Italy they had all what? Horses? Shut up, you little football! I'll kick you in the...
What did you say?
He's barking. Yeah, what do they have in Italy? Just horses, right? Like horse?
Mostly horse. The policeman would ride a horse.
The policeman would?
Yeah, and instead of cars like they do here. And
what do they have for sirens?
They don't.
Oh, that's actually a good question.
They have a big fancy hat with a big tassel like the...
Did they all have mustaches?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because they all have mustaches. That's one thing that didn't change.
Come, very tough.
Where do they put someone if they arrest them though? If they're on a horse?
Oh, that part I don't know. I was just a kid.
That's good you didn't know.
10 years old, so.
All right. Well, I got distracted, but that's all the time we have right now. So next time I'll show you how to not ruin your old school box. Perfect. So just like that, simple. So
The what?
I stopped recording now. So
you stopped it?
I stopped it. Yeah, I'm gonna do little segments like that because that's a good story. Like I don't even know what we're gonna talk about, but like that's actually interesting because where do you put somebody if you arrest them and you're on a horse?
I don't know that, Paul.
Well, that says something about you.
I'm sure they would come down off the horse and put the things on you and
right.
march
Probably
you to
behind
the
the
jail.
horse, yeah.
March you to the jail.
That's funny. All right.
They were fancy dressing with a big, I don't know, fluffy thing.
I know what you're talking about, like the big feather.
Yeah,
like
and when they would go, the wind would blow, and they looked fancy. It was all business. They were just so on those horses. And those horses were just so.
They walk. They're the ones like they still do that in the Boston Common. They have like the you don't want to go anywhere near them because they gotta run you over.
Tick 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 go by.
Mm-hmm. I gotta think of a. So that was a good. I'm trying to think of how to combine what I'm talking about with what your stories are. So you know you need like that's why I'm trying to explain the terminology like old school. Like people are like, oh, that's old school box. Like that's old. It's like, well, all right. I say what I have here is old to me. Well, like what would be old to you? Time. I mean, you'd have. I mean, when you saw an antique when you were little, what would an antique be? That's actually a good question.
Antique?
Yeah, like right now, an antique to me is something that you might have had new when you were.
Yeah, and an antique. Well.
But like, what do you remember being the first antique? Like that chair is one of the first antiques I remember. Because I remember you don't touch the chair.
Oh yeah.
Because I'd be waiting for school. I'd be sitting in that chair trying to pretend I was sick. You know.
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
around.
You got a stomach ache, I would give you something to chew.
Yeah, Tums.
Tums. And then I would give you one to take to school, in case you had another stomach ache.
Yeah, I know. They'd say you. Well, then I learned that you couldn't eat candy in class, but you could eat Tums. So then the whole class started bringing Tums to school.
I would let you stay inside, make sure when those stormy morning, I would go in the bedroom, look out the window when the bus was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would come out here and open the door and get you guys in the...
And I was hoping you'd change your mind and think I was sick enough to stay.
Oh well, those were good days.
Oh God. That school was something. The Catholic schools.
Oh yeah.
When you went to school, was it like a Catholic school? Or was it just a public school? Or was it kind of the same? Like.
Well, that was a Catholic school.
Okay. Well, the place I went, yeah, but
we lived here, so that's the nearest school to us.
Right, but when you went to school, like Italy was just a state-run school.
Well,
right?
when I went to school in Italy, we lived on the farm. Then we had a long walk. We had to cross.
What's a long walk?
We had to cross.
Something tells me that's like miles.
Yeah, and we had to cross the waterway, over a bridge, and then we keep going. Before you know it, on the left side.
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
Well, I must have started school about 6, 7.
And would you walk with your sister, or?
Well, I had to walk.
But just you and your sister, or so, like who was it walking? Was it like your parents walking you too, or just you?
No, my parents would walk to a certain place and then cross me over the water.
Oh, like to the bridge?
And then I would go in.
So like halfway or something, or? I'm thinking the kids couldn't do that today. Imagine a 7-year-old walking through. Yeah.
Then you had another thing, you know, a lot of them have cows and bulls.
Cows and bulls on in the pasture.
And the bull would hear somebody, they would boom, boom, and we'd be scared of the bull because you know what, they would really hurt us. But we'd stop running, you know, because the bull is coming.
That's funny.
Oh, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm living 1,000 years. What can I tell you?
It's the bull story is good. That's a.
They're not supposed to wear red because the bull don't like red, so they nobody would wear red.
On the way to school.
To the way to school, nobody wear red.
See that story? If I didn't hear that, that would just be lost somewhere. Like no one would hear that story.
And everybody was afraid of the bulls. But they wouldn't bother with us. They had the cows that they bother with.
That's funny. I haven't heard. Oh. Alright, I gotta just get this thing going here.